could talk a bit about where Getty Malkin's game is right now, and maybe sort of assess what you would like to see from him as the season moves into the second half.
Whoever's going to ask the Jordan Stahl question, whoever that might be, it'll be game time decision. So, Getty Malkin, I think this has been his best probably 4 or 5 games away from the puck. I think he's working very hard. He's working hard defensively. He's playing the game the right way. And the disappointing part is he's created for himself and his line 5 or 6 golden scoring opportunities in the games, the last few games, and hasn't reaped the rewards. A couple of them have been breakaways in the Washington game. He's had an Owl game. He had a couple point blank chances all alone and didn't get the puck to go in. And like to see that happen for him. But I think he's playing really well away from the puck, and it's been contagious for our team and the players out there with him. That he's focusing on that part of his game, and something to settle out in that area.
Stay on the right side. Dan, this matchup always seems to define what Ovechkin at the top of his game. Just wondering, as a coaching staff, is there anything you can do to change that dynamic?
Probably a lot of the success that we've seen Alex have against us is off the rush, coming off the wing, dancing around our defenseman and getting that shot, batting that shot on net. And the best thing we can do, we think having our tracking forwards come back and limiting those rush opportunities, pushing that rush into our defense. Like we keep preaching, it's something we've worked really hard on this year, is having a good gap and snuffing that out before it gets to that dangerous position where he can find himself in at the top of the circles and below. Last game we were fairly successful at that, and it's a tall task. And it's not something that one guy can do or just a shutdown pair. It's a responsibility of the forwards and the defense together. Something we're definitely trying to do. And then, where he's at on the power play is always, an issue. He was at the net before he played us in the last game. Against us, he moved out to more of a one-time position where we're seeing his crushing goals. Something we have to do now.
Rob? Yeah. Dan, 2 quick ones. One, what would go into a game time decision by Stahl? And 2, the stuff that was said on the 24/7 episode about Malkin out there for stuff, is that something that you would think is an accurate statement about him that you think the game time decision would be given? And also, that is something you would want him to look at, having somebody say that about him?
Let's see, there are 3 questions there. I'm not going to tell you on the first. Yes, I think he's going to see that, and that's not the first time that we've talked about that being something that teams have tried to do, and then our response to that as well. And I know, the Capitals and Bruce paid Sydney a compliment, but we've also said that to Sid at times, especially when playoffs roll around, and those are areas of the game that teams try to target and go after, and we're aware of them. I think it's a compliment. I think it's a compliment that they think that's what they have to do to get you out the game. It's something we have to be aware of. And in Gino's case, has to be better at the response, but they don't come after Clay Adams.
Yeah, Dan, there's some uncertainty about how it's going to play out tomorrow, but there's a possibility you guys could be sitting in the dressing room kind of waiting through a rain delay like baseball players do. They're accustomed to that, hockey players are not. What would you say to them to help them prepare for that?
Yeah, hopefully, hopefully we have a little more information as we get closer to the game and the weather, but hockey players go through a good 35, 40-minute warm-up to get to the warm-up, and the warm-up's a little anticlimactic, so it is an issue less in that scenario that you're talking about where you might have to warm up and then might not play, and then you got to cool down, and then you got to warm back up again. I think that mentally, that could be an issue if it dragged out for a couple of hours. But we're going to be prepared for that situation, and every player, I think, is going to understand that they're going to have to restart at a certain point. If we do get into that situation, we're not going to be able to control that. We are ready for it. We've discussed it, and we've also said our prayers to make sure we get up at the right time tomorrow as well.
Shelley, go ahead.
This was, I think, built in kind of record times. You had a hard-hitting alumni game before that. You had some rain, you had some sun. What was the ice like? What were the conditions like? And what are you expecting tomorrow that way? And how it might play into how the game's played?
The ice was, as I think you could see, it was soft. It was surprisingly, puck was surprisingly flat on it, and the guys commented that, given the conditions, that it was better than maybe we thought it might be. It was, again, it was soft, but puck was flat. They were passing it fine, and the one situation is with the wetness of the ice like that, sliding for the goalies across the crease was something where Flower did say it's not the same slide. But given the situation, we were commenting that the ice was better than. It's pretty darn good for the conditions out there. And you know what? The ice is different in every rink, and we're ready to play. And I thought the boards and the conditions were fine to play a game. So it was an exciting day, and I put it up there with a lot of my best experience in hockey being up here today. I had a great time.
Dan, there's a lot of matchups within this rivalry, and one of them is the coaches. And curious, what have you taken from all the matchups you've had with Bruce? And do you have a read on maybe what he's going to do, because you've coached against him enough times now?
Well, I mean, we've gone back, for a couple of years in Hershey. I played for Bruce for a couple games, and he was in the LA organization, so we've had conversations in the past, and we certainly coach a number of games against each other. I think their teams and the tendencies that they have, I'm not sure there's going to be any surprises between the two of us. How he likes to get his players out there. I guess the last game we played him, I was maybe a little bit surprised about the lineup that he did go with and some of the switches he did make for the lineup. But where he likes to get. I can guess when Ovechkin's going to get out there sometimes, get him in the situation of the game, where the face-off is at. Sometimes he does the double shift on you to get Ovechkin back out there. So there's some things that are going to happen in the game, but you're talking about a talented team with some very good tendencies offensively, and he's seen that in his teams in Hershey as well.
Since you see more than Nick, think Craig, could you just explain the pain, why it's in such a league? Is it just maturity? Is it more opportunity beyond Chardon, or is it more?
I think I would say that I was probably a little disappointed with his year last year. I thought you'd see this in greater colors last year. He came in the playoffs. He came on, and I believe he got 5 goals in the playoffs and had the type of playoff that you're seeing him play right now. But defense is a hard position. It's a tough one. Sometimes even the second year through is even a little bit more tough than the first year. And the maturity and growth of a player, sometimes the defense especially doesn't happen the way you like to, or the way they like to. And you're seeing a guy, he's had the confidence to play this game last year, but you're seeing him, I think, consistently add both offensively and defensively. And 2 years ago, he was a stalwart for us defensively, not so much offensively in the playoffs. He was shutting down most of his line and did an outstanding job at that. Didn't get a lot of recognition for it, but we knew the job he did on most of the playoffs and in that playoff year. And last year, didn't have the numbers years that I think he was hoping to have. There was a contract in there and some other things that may have affected his year, but you're seeing a confident guy who can skate, can defend, skate so well both sides of the puck, and really can shoot it, and you're seeing that consistently, so we're not surprised to see it. We hope to continue to see it.
Dan, I'm sure Jordan really wants to get back in this game. He's pushing you, playing what could be, once in a lifetime opportunity. How do you balance that with him returning, kind of different conditions, that kind of thing?
Considering the fact that it's his first game coming up, and